శ్రీ గురుభ్యో నమః. చాప్టర్ 14 భక్తుల అనుభవాలు అభిప్రాయాలు. The divine experiences of the devotees. Kamalamma Garu has innumerable devotees and most of them are women belonging to middle class households. She brought cheer and hope in their lives by helping them overcome their difficulties and attain a peaceful state of mind. These women, who could not afford to go on pilgrimage or conduct vratams and pujas, found solace in Kamalamma Garu's words and a solution to their mundane problems in life by following her advice. Now let us see the experiences of some of the devotees. Remani Kasi Vishwanatha Shastri. He was a disciple of Kamalamma Garu and was under her direct guidance for 7 years. His sadhana continued under her guidance even after he moved out of Eluru on transfer. He says Kamalamma Garu was a Mahayogini. She taught us that the sadhana to attain mukti is to remain in society and develop a detachment without failing to perform one's duty. We need not do penance in caves or forests to attain this state. Kamalamma Garu was a Sadguru in the form of a compassionate and merciful mother. She was efficient yet simple and disliked pomp and show. People who grew under her guidance are sure to become efficient and inspiring leaders. Her Peetham is sure to be the foremost in fostering the devotees and leading them steadily in the path of all-round progress. Mahankali Adinarayana Murthy. Sri Adinarayana Murthy was associated with Kamalamma and Satyanarayana Garu ever since their stay in Bhimadolu. Kamalamma Garu considered him as her own son and his mother Srimati Swarna as her sister. She presented another interesting aspect of Kamalamma Garu. She was capable of reading our thoughts even when we were physically away from her. According to Mrs. Swarna, she says, once my mother thought of presenting a silver spoon, that is Uddharini, to her. Since we had 2 of them, she did not disclose her intention even to us, and it was just a passing thought in her mind. The next morning, Pooja Pinni Garu, that is Kamalamma Garu, entered our house and addressed my mother. Swarnam, where is the silver Uddharini you thought of giving me? And my mother was astonished to know that even her passing thought was read by Kamalamma Garu and humbly presented the Uddharini to her. Adinarayana Murthy also narrated another instance. When I got a job in Chennai, I went and saluted Pinni Garu to take her blessings. She assured me that everything would be fine. I reached Madras since the place and language were totally new to me. I went to Kamalamma Garu's elder daughter Revati's house to seek help till I gained familiarity with the place. The entire family was preparing to leave for Nellore and stay there for the next 3 months. They were supposed to leave the previous day, but due to some untold reason, their trip was postponed to the next day. Revati Garu and I felt that it was Kamalamma Garu's divine plan and grace that made our meeting possible so that I could settle comfortably in a new place with their guidance and help. Revati Garu's family left for Nellore, handing over the keys of their house for me to use until I found a suitable home for my family. I always remind myself of Pujya Sri Kamalamma's pleasant countenance and words of assurance during my prayers at dawn and dusk, Sandhya Vandanam. And they definitely lead me in the righteous path. I consider Tripuramba and Ratnabala Garu as the rays emanating from the bright sun called Kamalamma. Devulapalli Hemalata. When Kamalamma Garu and Satyanarayana Garu lived in Bhimadol, they had rented a house belonging to Devulapalli Lakshminarayana and his wife Rajeshwaramma. The family members were friends and sishyas of Kamalamma Garu. Even their newly wedded daughter-in-law, Hemalata, became her ardent devotee. Hemalata narrates her observation. Many devotees used to come to Kamalamma Garu asking for advice, suggestions and remedies to alleviate their problems in life. She would say, don't ask me, surrender yourself to the Divine Mother. She will tell you what to do either in your dreams or in any other mode comprehensible to you. To some, she would voluntarily suggest methods to overcome their problems and give them her blessings and attribute everything to the grace of the Mother. We would say, Your words are the words of mother, and to us, you are divine mother. She would laugh heartily like a child and hug us. I consider Kamalamma Garu and Bala Tripura Sundari to be one and the same. Akella Chittamma. She was also one of the disciples of Kamalamma Garu. She first came to Kamalamma Garu to take her darshan and request a remedy for a problem. Chittamma bowed and stood silently. On seeing her, Kamalamma Garu said, "You are not yet blessed with children, isn't it? They die as soon as they are born. Your Tulasi Puja, Bala Tripura Sundari Aradhana, worship of Hanuman and Pradakshina around the holy banyan tree have not yet fructified, isn't it?" Kamalamma Garu could envision the past and future of anyone who stood in front of her without their telling. The devotees who came for the first time were in awe of Dhirga Darshanam and Vaksuddhi. But this was only to draw them into the divine fold of the Almighty and instill faith and trust in Him. In the case of Srimati Chittamma, her prayer was answered and was blessed with a son by the grace of Almighty Mother and Kamalamma Garu. Potukuchi Pulla Bhyakshi. Her first meeting with Kamalamma Garu was so different and interesting. Let us see how it happened as described by her. Once I dreamt as if an auspicious married lady of middle age was asking me to come to her house to have the darshan of Bala Tripura Sundari Peetham and take Tirtham and Prasadam. Since this dream kept repeating, I resolved to visit the Peetham, which was in the next lane. I had heard about it but never visited, since ours was a very conservative and orthodox family where women could not freely move out of the house. But that day, the same lady appeared in my dream, saying that she was leaving for Madras and would be returning after 2 days. She also said that her name was Kamalamma. Exactly after 2 days, I heard the same voice in my neighbor's house. It was so familiar because I heard it in my dreams many times. She was telling my neighbor that she had returned from Madras that day. I rushed out of my house to see who it was. Oh my God! To my astonishment, I saw the person in flesh and blood, the lady whom I had seen in dreams. People there told me she was Kamalamma Garu who stayed in the next street and there was a Bala Tripura Sundari Peetham at her place. When I later went to the Peetham, I narrated my dream to her. She said that she was ignorant of such happenings and everything should be attributed only to the grace of the Almighty. From then onwards, our entire family was drawn to her and we experienced her protection and love in every moment of her life. Cherukuri Sita Lakshmi. Sita Lakshmi was closely associated with Kamalamma Garu since her childhood days. She would go to the Peetham every day, take flowers for puja, do small chores of help and enjoy the prasadam given by Kamalamma Garu. She was one among their family and a student of Sarojini Garu and enjoys the same closeness with Tripuramba and Ratnabala Garu, the successive gurus of the Peetham. She shared one of her own experiences. Once I saw Pinni Garu, that is Kamalamma Garu, busy cooking when I went to her place. She wanted my mother to come down for lunch. I informed my mother and went off to school. When my mother went to the Peetham, Pinni Garu already had her lunch. My mother reminded Kamalamma Garu that she had sent a word through me to join her for lunch. Kamalamma was surprised to hear that. She said, "Oh no, I hadn't asked you to come." "Oh, now I understand. Lakshmi is so lucky. She has had the darshanam of Devi in my form and it is she who had asked you to come for lunch." Saying thus, she served food to my mother. I get really surprised whenever I think of this incident. Sita Lakshmi also narrated another of her experience. Once I was in the Peetham cleaning and washing the idols and putting the puja kumkum in a jar. Seeing this, Pinni Garu remarked, "There are 2 old gold coins in the kumkum jar. Someone who is lucky will get it." Generally, the devotees who came to the Peetham would take some kumkum from the jar, apply it on their forehead and would also take some for people at home. A devotee from Bhimadol got these 2 gold coins when they were taking some kumkum for themselves. From then on, their business improved and they flourished. Very often, Kamalamma Garu would say, "Lakshmi, I may not live when you grow up to become a lady. Would you like to see me appear in this form even after I passed away? I did not quite understand what to say and replied that it sounded ghostly and I would be scared. Then she said, "Okay, then I shall follow you as you shadow and I will always protect you." I am able to feel her protective presence every moment of my life, says Sita Lakshmi. Bandaru Annapurna, Ammaji. She was one of the most blessed devotees and to have received initiation to Gayatri Mantra from Kamalamma Garu. When her son suffered from serious health problem, she prayed Pinnigaru to protect and restore his health. She then heard Kamalamma Garu's assuring voice that she had always kept them protected. Her son's health was restored to normalcy in due course of time. Once Kamalamma Garu said, "Goddess Rajarajeshwari tells me that she wants to come to your home. Adore her with devotion and care." Saying this, she gave the Rajarajeshwari idol of Peetam to Annapurna. This Vigraham, decorated with silver umbrella, used to be worshipped at the Peetam, and it now adorns the Puja Mandiram of Srimati Annapurna, who considered Kamalamma Garu to be the human form of Jonnavada Kamakshi Devi. Potukuchi Lakshminarayana. His entire family was devoted to Kamalamma Garu. He narrates how he was saved by the grace of the Guru. In his words, "Once I had to visit Delhi on an official trip. When I was getting down from the train, my legs slipped and I fell down. I was severely injured yet saved. When I returned home after the trip, my mother charged her words at me. 'It seems that you were severely hurt when you were at Delhi. Pinni Garu, Kamalamma Garu, told me all that had happened to you through her Dirga Drushti. She wanted to see you on your return. Go and take her blessings first. It was she who saved you from a major disaster.' Kamalamma Garu told my mother at Eluru that I was hurt exactly at the same instant when I fell down from a train at Delhi. It was her all-pervading presence that has been always protecting all her followers," says Lakshminarayana. Rayaprolu Kamalamma. She got acquainted to Kamalamma Garu right from the initial days of establishment of the Peetam at Eluru. The acquaintance matured into Guru-Sishya relation. Both of them being name-like was a special feature. Rayaprolu Kamalamma's daughter was of marriageable age and there was a good matrimonial alliance proposed for her. But the father of the girl wanted to reject it due to some trivial issue. This upset the mother. She went to the Peetam and expressed her worry and concern to Kamalamma Garu and returned home. Just as she stepped into the house, a small girl called Manikyamba from the neighbor's family, who was already present there, behaved very oddly. With wide opened eyes, she started laughing aloud, as if she was possessed by some spirit. Rayaprolu Kamalamma asked her why she was behaving so differently. Manikyamba said, "I am Bala Tripurasundari. I followed you when you came from the Peetam. Call your husband, I want to speak to him." Her husband came and meanwhile she sent word for Pinni Garu. Manikyamba told the man, "Tomorrow you will get a letter from the groom's house indicating their acceptance of the marriage proposal of your daughter. You should give a positive reply and get your daughter married to him. She will lead a prosperous life." Meanwhile, Kamalamma Garu also arrived from the Peetam. On seeing Manikyamba, she said, "You should not come in this manner. It may scare people." Manikyamba replied, "It is not my intention to scare the Bhaktas, Kamala. I only wanted these people to go ahead with this alliance since it is good for their daughter." "Is this not your opinion as well? I came to convey this immediately to them." Kamalamma Garu offered some panakam to drink and waved Harati to the spirit of the Holy Mother who had possessed the little girl. The divine spirit left the body of the girl and she dropped unconscious. She got up after a while and behaved like any other normal child, playing and running around happily, oblivious of what had happened earlier. Later, the letter from the bridegroom's parents came as predicted and the wedding was conducted as per the divine will. Sistla Sitamma Rao. She narrates how she was drawn to her Sadguru and blessed abundantly. "I took Puja Pinni Garu's, that is Kamalamma Garu's darshan at the behest of a well-wisher. I expressed my desire to be blessed with a child and prayed her to fulfill my request. She asked me to wait for the divine's guidance. In due course of time, I saw an elderly lady in my dream. She resembled Kamalamagaru and instructed me to observe fasting prayer for a period of 27 Fridays. She assured me that I would be blessed with a daughter who was a divine element of Bala Tripurasundari. I observed the fast as per the instructions, and a daughter was born to me in the due course of time, but I failed to honor my vow to name her as Bala. After a few days, the infant refused to drink milk, and I went to the Peetham seeking a solution. On seeing me, Pinnigaru, that is Kamalamagaru, who was performing Amavari Puja, said, "Why didn't you give my name to your child? Get back home and name your child as I had earlier instructed you." I hadn't spoken to Pinnigaru about my child's problem, but my mistake was pointed out and the remedy pronounced. I renamed my baby daughter, who immediately became normal, and she started taking milk. When she was very mischievous one day, I lost my temper and I beat her. The little child got angry and her eyes reddened and in threatening voice asked me not to beat her, thus reminding me that she was the Divine Mother. This devotee also narrated another experience of hers. I used to sing very well and was a strange stage performer. Suddenly, I lost my voice and could not sing. When I went to the Peetham, in due course of time, Pinnigaru, that is Kamalamagaru, asked me to sing a song. I told her that I had lost my voice, but she insisted I should sing. I thought I would give a try, and to my astonishment, I could sing very well without any problem. My voice was restored. From then on, I always sing in praise of the Mother Goddess whenever I go to the Peetham as my thanksgiving to her. Kanukolanu Kamalamma. In her words, she was the most privileged devotee to perform the first Laksha Kunkumarchana in Bala Tripurasundari Peetham under the guidance of Pujya Sri Kamalamagaru. She narrates how her house was saved from a fire accident. Most of the houses in our area had thatched roofs. There was a fire accident in the neighborhood and the fire was spreading rapidly. Upon Pinnigaru's or Kamalamagaru's advice, I sprinkled some water mixed with kumkum and placed few balls of curd rice. I frequently prayed Amavaru, who is also praised as Sitala Devi, and the fire should soon subside and no one should be harmed. Though all the other houses were burned down to ashes, ours was saved. This miracle was only due to Kamalamagaru's blessings. Kuppa Kameshwaramma. She was Kamalamma's Guru's disciple and an ardent devotee of Sri Rajarajeshwari. They had a factory manufacturing ceramic jars at Bhimadolu. Their business flourished only when Kamalamagaru blessed them. Though she hadn't seen the factory, Kamalamagaru would describe it accurately from her inner voice and even correctly list the trees in the factory premises. It was through this Divya Drushti she was constantly monitoring and protecting the welfare of all her devotees and Sishyas. Nancharu Subbalakshmi. She was devoted to the Peetham since her childhood. She used to make packets of Archana Kunkuma to be sent to the devotees at far off places and also be of great help to Kamalamagaru. Once she expressed a desire to see the Divine Mother in human form. Let us see how her desire was fulfilled. The devotee thus narrates, "When I was pregnant with my eldest son, very often I used to see a weird form in my dreams. It had a long bearded face and the body of a serpent. I narrated this to Kamalamagaru. She comforted me and asked me to pray to her Guru, Balaji Swami, and vowed to give his name to the child to be born. I did as she said, after which there were no weird dreams. When my son was born, I named him Balaji Chandrasekhar. One day, Kamalamagaru visited our home at Vijayawada. I had put the baby to sleep in the cradle in the bedroom and was chatting with Kamalamagaru in the veranda. Suddenly I heard the baby cry, and within a moment the baby stopped his cry. I was not sure of myself, so from the veranda itself I peeped to get a glimpse of the inner room. I could not believe my eyes. My hair stood on its edge all over the body. My hands and feet turned cold, and I even forgot to blink. A beautiful, pleasant looking girl, about 16 years of age, was rocking the cradle, which had stopped the baby from crying. Kamalamma garu gently patted my back and confirmed that it was Ammavaru in human form. She had heard my prayers and come down to fulfill my desire. Kamalamma garu said I was lucky to get her darshan. I peeped once again to catch a glimpse of the divine Shodasi, and then there was no one there. Yes, I consider myself very lucky to get a guru like Kamalamma garu who could bring down the goddess herself into a human form for the sake of her Sishya. Gundlapalli Venkataram Mohan. He was Kamalamma garu's nephew, that is, her younger sister Tanumadhyamba's son. He lived in Madras and used to visit his aunt at Eluru occasionally. He recalled his memorable experiences. One of my visits to Eluru was during Dasara celebrations, and I vividly remember that the arrangements were going on for Ammavaru's puja. My aunt Kamalamma remarked that all the varieties of flowers except chrysanthemum were there. I asked her whether I should buy them from the bazaar. She said that the goddess herself would make arrangements for the flowers to reach the Peetham on time for her puja. Just then, a devotee got down from a rickshaw bringing in 2 baskets of chrysanthemum flowers. I was surprised beyond words. Yet another time, our family reached Eluru from Bandar quite late in the night. Early next morning, the milkman who usually supplied milk to the household said, "Amma, a lady came and told me that your relatives arrived yesterday late in the night and that you need extra milk for the guests. I have brought it for you. Please take it." He poured out the additional quantity of milk into the container. I was stunned and turned towards Kamalamma garu and saw her saluting the Peetham with a bright smile. The Devi had come down for her sake and even run an errand to the milkman. Her Sishyas, devotees, and even those who did menial jobs for her were lucky to get such divine darshan. Haridurgamba. She hailed from Eluru and had the privilege of being closely associated with Kamalamma garu for about 18 years. She considered Pinni garu to be an incarnation of Ammavaru and used to carry out the devotional activities of giving an oil bath, braiding her hair, decorating Kamalamma garu in person, and attend to her personal needs with love and faith. Durgamba loved to have Devi's darshan in a prominent temple in Eluru town during Dasara. There they used to beautifully decorate the mother's idol depicting the various avatars of Devi. On a certain day, when Devi was decorated as Mahakali, Durgamba could not take her darshan due to heavy rush in the temple and returned home very much disappointed. Kamalamma garu, who was sitting at her doorstep, called Durgamba and found out the reason for her disappointment. Kamalamma said, "Do you want to see Kali?" Durgamba expressed her keenness. Kamalamma garu asked her to come inside the house and took her close to Ammavaru's Peetham. Kamalamma garu stood in front of Durgamba and said, "Okay then, now you can see Mother Kali." Durgamba had a wonderful darshan of Kaliya Mata in the place of Kamalamma garu. In a split second, the divine vision vanished and Kamalamma garu stood as before with her pleasant, smiling countenance. Haridurgamba also narrated how she was introduced to Kamalamma garu and the course of events that happened thereafter. It was my first visit to the Peetham to meet Kamalamma garu and take the darshan of Ammavaru. I had gone there with Pulabhyakshi, who regularly went to Peetham, and as we ascended the doorsteps, Kamalamma garu shouted loudly, asking us to stop where we were. We halted abruptly and stood perplexed. She came there and said, "Pulabhyakshi, someone is engaging thugs to beat up in a day or 2. Ask her to be careful." After warning me thus, she took me inside and comforted me, saying that she would protect me. Her words came true. My brother-in-law had engaged some people to beat me up since there were some unsettled property disputes between my husband and his brother. But his plot foiled since Kamalamma garu stood by us in protection. Buddhiraju Ramakrishna. His younger brother had a severely impaired vision, was mute, and his hearing was almost nil due to some chronic disease. They approached Kamalamma garu, who made them observe some niyama and diksha. He gradually recovered within 2 years, and the entire Buddhiraju family remained grateful and devoted to Kamalamma Garu. Ramakrishna narrates an incident where he witnessed the divinity of Kamalamma Garu. I had gone with Pinnigaru or Kamalamma Garu to Vijayawada to have the darshan of goddess Kanakadurga. There were no roads for vehicles to ply up and down the Indrakiladri hilltop which housed the mother's holy shrine. Devotees had to take the steps both the ways. After the darshan, Kamalamma Garu appeared very fatigued and tired, and she sat on the topmost step. I thought that her tiredness was due to her age and asked whether she had the stamina to go down the steps or preferred some rest. She got up and asked me to follow her. In a split second, both of us had descended the hill, and I saw her seated on the bottommost step. I was astonished and stunned beyond words on seeing this humanly impossible incident. I am convinced that she was the manifestation of the Divine Mother. Murali. Sharada and Murali lived in Delhi. This highly devoted couple had a good fortune of hosting Kamalamma Garu during her pilgrimage to North Indian temples and attend the Kumbh Mela at Haridwar. Kamalamma Garu reached Delhi, stayed with Murali's family, and then went on a yatra to Haridwar with another devotee. When they were returning to Delhi after the yatra, they missed each other. She boarded a Delhi-bound bus on her own, got down at some unfamiliar place that was far away from Murali's place. To make matters worse, she had lost Murali's address. Meanwhile, people at home were worried that she had not returned from the yatra even after the stipulated period. The hosts were worried, not knowing what to do. Their worry and tension heightened at the very thought that she neither knew the language nor the landmarks of the busy city. All of a sudden, Kamalamma Garu entered the house, pleasantly surprising and relieving everyone's anxiety. She narrated how she had lost and somehow managed to reach the home. Murali, who was all the more perplexed, asked how she was able to reach home in spite of not knowing the address. She replied that a Namala Swami, a Vaishnavite wearing namas, had brought her home in his auto rickshaw and she was yet to pay the fare. Murali immediately rushed out to thank him and pay the fare, but there was no one outside. It is a mystery even to this day as to who had dropped Kamalamma Garu at Murali's house. Was it Lord Narayana Swami himself? Kota Janakirama Sharma. He was a very fortunate and blessed soul who was guided and moulded by Sadguru Kamalamma Garu even when he was a young man. He reaped rich fruits of sadhana and Guru Kripa from our Puja Guru. He experienced spiritual bliss through his devotion and sadhana. Let us see one of his experiences with his Guru. Once he dreamt that Kamalamma Garu had given him Mantropadesham. When he mentioned this to her, she laughed, saying that she didn't even know the 12 Kesava Namas which people are expected to chant regularly, and exclaimed how an ignorant person like her could have given him Mantra Diksha. When people assembled in the Peetham had left, she reprimanded him for discussing such spiritual matters in public and said that sadhana should always remain a private matter between the Guru and Sishya and be maintained a secret. In the same note, she also mentioned that his spiritual practices lacked a sincere devotional attitude in his previous births. She also added that their Guru-Sishya relation spanned over many births. It was Marakata Kishora Nyaya, that is, the disciple takes the effort of holding on to the Guru like a baby monkey clinging on to its mother in order to be taken care of in his previous birth. And it was Marjala Kishora Nyaya in this lifetime, that is, the Guru makes the effort to take care of the Sishya like a mother cat holding or taking care of the safety of the kitten. She promised to lead him to deliverance and assured to take care of him always. Thus, each devotee has a unique experience with their Guru depending on their mental and spiritual status. We may read or hear others' experiences and interpretations, but we can never fathom the true meaning hidden in the words and actions of the Sadguru. Jai Gurudeva. Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Chapter 15. Guru Vamsavali. The Legacy. The all-pervading supreme power was worshipped by Kokkonda Venkataratnam Sharmagaru in the form of his Upasana deity Tanumadhyamba. He passed on the responsibilities of worship and adoration of the Mother Goddess and the divine Peetham to Kamalamma Garu, who established the inherited Peetham at Eluru. She continued to worship the Devi as Bala Tripura Sundari. Kamalamma Garu nominated her second daughter, Tripuramba, as the successor of the Peetham and also declared that the legacy shall be continued by her granddaughter, Ratnabala Garu. Mata Tripuramba, the epitome of selfless sacrifice. When the Jagannatha wishes to strengthen Sanatana Dharma, she assumes and descends in the various forms. Thus, various personalities appear in their functionary roles within the Guru Parampara to assist her mission. Sometimes it is the Almighty herself, or her plenary portion, or a partial incarnation. Such an empowered Guru Parampara extends its divine and spiritual powers to the other souls, enriches their lives, and leads them towards the ultimate goal in the life. This grandeur is well experienced by the devotees who are associated with this Peetham since the last 3 generations. Kokkonda Venkataratnam Garu declared that his deity of worship, that is, goddess Tanumadhyamba, had incarnated as his daughter Kamalamma. Similarly, the Kali aspect of the Holy Mother had incarnated as Kamalamma Garu's second daughter, Tripuramba. The mystic experiences which Kamalamma Garu had at the time of her second daughter's birth was elaborated in chapter 7 of this book. Tripuramba was born to the divine couple Sri Behara Satyanarayana and Srimati Kamalamma on Vaikuntha Ekadasi, that is, in December 1938. Even as a child, she was extraordinary and her divinity was quite obvious. When Tripuramba's divine powers surfaced as miracles in some of her actions, Kamalamma Garu prayed to the Jagannatha that such miracles should never occur again because it may distract the sadhakas. Kamalamma Garu firmly led her Sishyas in the path of devotion towards the final deliverance. She wanted everyone to remain focused on the goal in life, that is liberation, and not to be distracted by the powers of Siddhi which inevitably arise during sadhana to tempt and distract the sadhaka. Tripuramba Garu was brought up in a strong value-based system which aimed at spiritual, social, economic, physical harmony of the individual soul. Her spiritual strength is revealed in the fact that Kamalamma Garu considered her as the most suitable successor to manage and strengthen the Peetham. She had decided that Tripuramba would remain a spinster all through her life and finally dedicate the accumulated merit of divine power to the welfare of the Peetham and its devotees. She had told Tripuramba, "Don't worry that you shall not have a family and children like other women in the society. All those who come to this Peetham are your children. The Holy Mother shall take care of all your needs till your last breath. This Peetham shall come to limelight in the next generation and shall be well known and acknowledged for its service and religious activities. Hence, it is your responsibility to take care of the Peetham until then." All those who know her in person recollect her unconditional love and motherly concern which she had for everyone without any inhibition. It was this infinite compassion that translated into the noble action of helping the needy. She never waited to be asked for help. She volunteered for food, money, clothes to those who were in need. She lived and demonstrated the ideals and values ingrained by her mother, that is, to remain cheerful at all times and always speak and share positive thoughts and words. Kamalamma Garu firmly believed that women can be empowered only when they learn to be academically competent and economically independent. She was against the practice of taking personal favors from others and insisted that each one should be self-sufficient and supportive to others. Being brought up under such influence, Tripuramba Garu excelled not only in spiritual cognition but also at conventional school. She grew up to become a qualified and trained teacher at a very early age. She worked at the Theosophical Society School for 40 years. She was an excellent teacher, and many of her students are in a good position today. They were molded to become complete personalities under the loving yet strict guidance of Tripuramba Garu. She helped the economically backward students by giving them school uniforms, books, and by paying their school and examination fees. She shall always be remembered by those students for her kindness and cheerfulness. Tripuramba Garu led a very well-disciplined life. Her food habits and needs were simple. She kept herself physically fit, active, and agile. Any keen observer of her daily regime would understand that a sadhaka should neither ignore nor pamper the body. She considered the physical body to be the carrier of the soul and thought that it has to be properly nurtured and utilized without negligence and indulgence. She travelled all over Bharat with her disciples and had the darshan of the Almighty at all the prominent pilgrim centers. Her favorite pilgrimage was to Kashi. She carried out an annual pilgrimage to this holy place for 11 years uninterruptedly. She used to stay at Kasi with Peetham devotees during the entire month of Kartika, that is lunar month in Hindu calendar, which usually falls in the months of October and November. Her daily schedule during those days was to bathe in the holy Ganga, have darshan of the presiding deities of Kashi, that is Lord Vishwanath and Goddess Annapurna, and spend the day in prayers and meditation. She followed the path set by her Guru and considered the spiritual nourishment and enrichment of the Peetham as her only mission in life. She was an ideal daughter who took utmost care of her parents, their health and financial issues. She dedicated her physical, mental and spiritual powers to the Peetham. She lovingly hosted the devotees who came to the Peetham and made suitable arrangements for them to conduct puja and keep up their religious vows and niyamas. She kept up the traditions of daily puja, that is Nitya Puja, special puja of Tuesday, Friday and grand annual Dasara celebrations. Tripuramba Garu also conducted the Aradhana of her parents on their Siddhi day. She drew immense satisfaction in honoring Vedic Pandits and musicians on special occasions and during festive celebrations. Under her loving and able guidance, the Peetham was well maintained. Tripuramba Garu stands as spiritual guru and role model of the author of this book, Srimati S. Ratnabala Garu. She nurtured and molded Ratnabala Garu as her spiritual successor and as the next proficient guru to uphold the values and ideals of the Peetham and its parampara. Mata Kamalambika had predicted that her daughter's spiritual mission would go on until some yogis from the Himalayas came and led her to the heavenly abode. Just as she had envisioned, a group of yogis and their sishyas visited the Peetham a couple of days before Mata Sri Bala Tripura Sundari Garu gave up her earthly life and attained Siddhi on 3rd March 2006. She had given up everything and lived the life of true Jivan Mukta with highest bhakti bhava of Atma Nivedana. The philosophy, mission and message of her life were, when mind becomes thine, life becomes divine. She lived a life synonymous to service and sacrifice, which sublimated her, and she was absorbed into the all-pervading, omnipresent Jagannatha Mahatripura Sundari. Now, let us see about Pujya Sri Ratnabala, the incarnation of perfection and completeness. The stillness and quiet of the night is the time when the mind withdraws itself from the physical body and senses, drops all the thoughts arising from the ego and merges itself with the ever blissful soul called Satchitananda Swarupa or Paramatma. This is the time when the ever vigilant soul can be experienced in its pure and nascent form. The wakeful and watchful nights of Navratri and Shivaratri are aimed at this experience of Samadhi Sthiti, after which the Jiva experiences Amaratva, that is, an immortal state. The fear of samsara vanishes and one experiences the Lord in every living moment. This is Jivana Mukti and has to be achieved here and now and not after death. This is the message brought by all the gurus and seems to be the significance of selecting the Ratri or night time as their time of birth. It may be recalled that the Jagadguru Sri Krishna of Oriental and Jesus the Christ of the Occidental descended to earth only at night. The enlightened souls Gautama Buddha, Mahavira, Guru Nanak and Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi chose to be born only at night, that is during the dark ages of Kali Yuga, and led the mortals to immortality. In such a similar manner, goddess Rajarajeshwari decided to descend on this earth, assume a human form and lead people in the path of Jnana Bhakti towards Mukti by playing the role of the Guru. The Parashakti of the able administrative skills, who is adored as Sri Rajarajeshwari, dressed in flowing white silk with glittering crown adoring her, holding a trident, riding on a white horse, alighted from it and entered into Bala Tripura Sundari Peetham at Eluru during the wee hours of 13th March 1957. Only Mata Kamalambika had this darshan and she understood its significance. Within minutes, her son-in-law, Sri Nidamarthi Narayan Rao, came there. Kamalamma Garu immediately asked whether a daughter was born to him. He was stunned because he had come there only to convey the good news of his first daughter's birth during those late hours. When he expressed his surprise, Kamalamma Garu narrated her vision. She also said, "This baby girl born to you and my youngest daughter, Lakshmi Sarojini, is an Amsa of goddess Rajarajeshwari. This Peetham shall remain obscure for some time after I leave my mortal coil. When this little girl grows up and shall take charge of the Peetham and its activities, the Peetham shall then bloom to its complete glory and devotees from all over the world shall then come to the Peetham." Ratnabala Garu was brought up by her maternal grandmother Kamalamma Garu and aunt Tripuramba Garu. She spent her childhood and student life at Eluru, keenly observing the activities and administration of the Peetham. She shared the administrative responsibilities of the Peetham with Mata Tripuramba Garu, the sequence of events that transformed Srimati Sunkesula Ratnabala Garu to the fourth Guru of Bala Tripura Sundari Peetham is well described in the preface of this book. The Peetham has seen a vast expansion in its infrastructure and activities ever since she took charge of it. Her completeness and poise are reflected in all the activities taken up by her. The reader can have a vivid picture of the Peetham and its socio-religious and philanthropic activities in the next chapter, Kamalambika Muktidhamam, a home of sadhana towards liberation. The fundamental core of the Peetham is the ideology of Mata Kamalambika. Ratnabala Garu is a visionary who has carefully woven and integrated all the aspects of life around this core. The activities planned and executed by her give immense satisfaction and happiness in all the spheres of life to all the Sishyas, irrespective of their age, gender, and social status. She is always inclusive yet detached, concerned yet untangled, caring yet unconditional. This places her on a very high pedestal which ordinary human beings can't easily achieve. Her clarity and purity are reflected in her plans, which flow easily and materialize into actions. Her spiritual strength is evident when one observes the crumbling and disappearance of challenges and problems faced by her Sishyas and devotees. It is this eternal spring of spiritual power that draws devotees to her and to the Peetham from all over the world. Her multifaceted approach and open-mindedness can be seen in the various activities undertaken by the Peetham under her initiative and guidance. Her cheerfulness and welcoming semblance draws the Sishyas towards her. Under her motherly guidance and care, one is sure to attain completeness in their sadhana. Ratnabala Garu was instrumental in 1. Developing a multi-storied own building for the Peetham and its devotees, constructing a Dhyana Mandiram, a meditation hall called Smarandham, which includes a spiritual library and a museum where the things used by previous gurus are maintained. 3. Bringing out spiritual works like Sri Kamalambika Ashtottara Satanamavali, Sri Kamala Satyanarayana Puja Vidhi, Sri Kamalambika Divya Charitra in Telugu and English, Sri Kamala Vedam uploaded in YouTube as audio files. Sri Kamalopanishad. Fourth, launching a website ratnakamalaambika.org. 5. Bringing out the second edition of Bilveshwara Mahakavyam, a Telugu epic poem by Kukkanda Venkataratnam Sharma garu. 6. Launching of Bhakti Manjari cassettes and CDs containing devotional songs of Mata Kamalambika. She has travelled all over the globe. She has taken her Sishyas on pilgrimage to all the prominent places of worship in India, Vatican, Nepal, Tibet, Sri Lanka, etc. She has taken extreme care to collect Tirtha, Akshata, etc. from different kshetras and place them in the foundation of the premises of the Peetham, so that anyone who visits the Peetham obtains the merits of having the darshanam of the Almighty at Shakti Peethams, Dwadasa Jyotirlinga Kshetrams, Vaishnava Divya Desams, etc. Sishyas and the inmates of the Peetham have imbibed her Shraddha, and they work in harmony to see that every activity is executed with utmost care and perfection. Jai Gurudeva. Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha.